How's it going, guys? So, today I want to test if I can actually taste a difference between coffee that has been vacuum sealed and preserved versus coffee that has been left out to kind of just be exposed to the elements. So, this has been out for 10 days and this has been vacuum sealed. Now, obviously I've been using it, so, it's had exposure to air and the vacuum was recreated, blah, blah, blah. But all intents and purposes, this should taste much more dull and bland and should be a much different experience than preparing coffee with this. And not even just the flavor. I'm trying to see if I can tell in the brewing process, if I can tell a difference between what's going on with this one and going on with that one. And honestly, I've never done this type of comparison before. So I'm genuinely very curious to see if I can actually tell. Now, I'm going to be doing a V60 for both of these. I only have one setup, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put both of these into two sample cups and mix them around so I don't really know what's going on, and then just brew with one, then brew with the other, and see if I can see or taste a difference between the two. So what we'll do is we'll weigh out 14 grams of the vacuum sealed coffee, and then we'll go ahead and just put them into the containers. And then we'll even see if there's any difference in the grinding process. Let's just keep an eye out and see if we can tell. So I would suspect this leftover is maybe like 21 grams, so I've got enough for a good sized cup of coffee after this. But this has been great. This was from Greater Goods. It was a Guatemala. That was pretty fantastic. Okay, so underneath one of these is an indicator for which one's the older grounds and which one's the new ones. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle them around again, just so there's proof. I honestly am trying to turn my brain off. I don't know if you can even see it on my face or not, but I'm literally trying to think about everything else other than what's happening. And I can guarantee you I've already forgotten which one's which, but I'm going to go ahead and just kind of mess myself up a little more, just for fun. And there we are. I don't know. It's funny how easily you can trick yourself when you just let yourself be tricked, and I sincerely have no clue which one either of these are. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just prepare one and then prepare the other, so I don't get them jumbled up because that would just be such a waste of coffee. So instead, I'm going to just focus on one and then get it out of the way, focus on the other, and then go from there. We'll start with this one. Now I'm not looking again. I can't tell if the sticker's there or not, but you can. Now, if you've ever prepared a pour over before, you know that there's one interesting factor, and that is the pouring method. How fast you pour, the rotations, all that stuff comes into play. And so I feel like it's gonna make it even more challenging. I'm gonna have to go out of my way to try to be even more consistent with my pour, just so that I don't throw myself off and make one cup of coffee that's maybe a little darker and one that's a little bit lighter, and then I make the mistake of assuming that it's because of the actual age of the beans versus just me messing up one versus the other. Now, one nice thing about using 14 grams in a V60 is that it's pretty user-friendly. Honestly, you don't have a bunch of pulse pours and things like that. You've got a bloom, you've got a pour, and then you're done. So hopefully that'll make it easier for me to not mess up one of these two. Okay, still have no clue which one this is. I have my suspicions, but I'm not sure. Now let's just not mess this part up and we'll be good. Now there's lots of little bubbles at the beginning of the bloom phase, but I don't know what that means. Again, that could, I don't know. I could just be blowing a bunch of smoke and say a bunch of random stuff, but honestly, I don't know what I'm talking about. It doesn't seem normal to me though. But I couldn't tell you 100% why. At least not comparatively. It'll be nice when I can compare the two blooms once I do the other. Alright, almost exactly 220. And we were at about 58 seconds. I'm going to kind of just jostle it a little bit, not quite swirl. So I'm gonna pour 100 grams into here and just sample it out and get this other one started. Not looking, not looking, not looking. All right, so that's done. We'll take care of this. All right, so let's get the initial taste of this one and see how it is. Ah, is my mind playing tricks on me? Huh. Because I feel like I can taste that it's kind of stale. But I'll just look like such a fool if this is the regular one. Yeah, there's just more of that. There's just more of a bitter flavor to it. Just not quite as quality. Kind of a similar aftertaste that you'd get from like a K-cup or something, where it's a little bit filmy almost. I don't know. I really hope my brain's not just messing with me. That's a good starting point though, for sure. What I'm gonna see is what the different blooms look like. Also, I ended my pour at 58 seconds last time. So I'm gonna try to have the same pace, just to try to have some consistency there. Yeah, okay, so it just seems like the coffee is absorbing the water better in this bloom. Like, I feel like I should have put more water than I did in this one. I suspect that there's more degassing happening in this guy than in the other one. Yeah, there's just not as much complexity as I would expect. And also, I have the advantage of the fact that I have been brewing with this coffee for a little while now, for 10 days. So I kind of know what to expect from the flavor. But I've been wrong before. All right, final time to test and evaluate. I'm actually really interested to see if I'm totally wrong or comparing the two, what it's gonna taste like. There's just more impact. Oh, wait, let me try this one again. Oh, no. Oh, gosh. And it is kind of tough because this one is cooler. I don't know, man. I do know one thing. I like this cup better. So, it seems like obviously this is the fresh stuff and this is the old boy. But my suspicions from beginning to end made me feel like it was this one. And there is obviously a difference between the exposure of coffee to oxygen for 10 days and it being in a vacuum for most of that time. So there's gotta be a difference. And I would definitely say that this one has just more flavor. I'm just actually terrified and like wondering if I'm gonna actually find the label under this or not. But I'm gonna stick with my gut. No, not yet. I'm gonna fill my gut with a little more coffee and then tell you. We'll see what happens. But I really do think that this is the old one. Let's find out. Yes! I was actually scared. There it is. Bam, it says old on it. You just gotta take my word for it. I also have really bad handwriting, but yes, so this was the sticker for it being the old one. Okay, great. So, honestly, after 10 days, it's not like you can't drink it, like it's terrible. There's just a few weird things that you get from this cup of coffee that you don't get from fresh coffee. One of the most noticeable is the kind of filmy texture you get on your mouth when you drink old coffee, like old coffee grounds black, like a Keurig or something like that. It's obviously not as intense, but it was more prevalent, where it's like there was this filmy texture on the roof of my mouth and on my tongue, where this one was just a much cleaner cup, a little more distinct flavors, just in general better. So it matters, guys. It matters where you store your coffee. It matters what you store your coffee in. So be sure to, in my opinion, have something that has a vacuum seal. Like, not just one of those things that you kind of just press and it kind of sucks some air out. It's just not that good, I'll be honest. If you can create an actual vacuum where your coffee is, it'll last you for much longer and you'll enjoy it more for longer. But yeah, that was a fun experiment. I'm really glad that I got it right. I honestly was I wasn't 100% sure, since, you know, I've never done it before. But yeah, good times. Let me know if there's any other experiments you want me to try or anything else you'd like me to give a shot. I'd be willing. I always am. But wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I hope you're drinking great coffee, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.